Hi, I'm David Dodge. Welcome to Green Energy Futures. Since 2017, the wheels on the bus have been going round and round on an electric school bus operated by rental bus lines in Parkland County, Alberta. Is the electric bus the way to go? Jeremy Kureluk thinks so. He was showing off his Lion electric bus at the Energy Innovation Fair in Red Deer recently.
My name's Jeremy Kureluk. I work for Rental Bus Lines, and this is our electric school bus. We're based outside of Edmonton. We have about 50 buses in our fleet, and we service all the surrounding areas in Parkland County. So we've had this bus in our fleet relatively recent. We've had the first electric bus joined our fleet back in April 2017, and this is our new model here.
This bus is purpose-made in St. Jerome, Quebec by Lion Electric.
So it's a one-speed, single drive, top speed about 96, 97 kilometers an hour, which is fine for school bus use. We have on this model 150 kilometer range. On the new models, they now go up to 175 to start for the range, and it takes about 3 hours to charge for our school bus route. From completely empty, it'd take about 6 hours at 80 amps to do a full charge.
One thing Kureluk really appreciates is aside from the electric motors, most of the parts in these school buses are pretty standard.
All the braking components, all the components that you'd be using on a day-to-day are all standard truck issues. So you've got a Hendrickson front end, you've got Meritor brakes. They're all components that are readily available. So it keeps it very simple to introduce into an existing fleet. Your mechanics don't have to relearn an entirely new technology because they're already working with these components on existing vehicles.
So what's the range like in real-world use?
We've done 150 kilometers. That's quite scary. When you get down to that under the 10% range, we do lose some power. So it does like to slow down. I know I've done 150K, but that was very, very much pushing it.
Kureluk tested this when he drove the bus across Canada from the factory to their shop in Parkland County, Alberta. When it comes to their school bus routes, he couldn't be happier.
This would cover about 90% of our routes currently. Our biggest challenge isn't so much that the bus and the range. Our biggest challenge is getting these into the electrical grid.
Meanwhile, they're working with partners to establish electric bus depots spread out to where they're needed and where the electricity for charging is available.
If we were to go and get 50 of these buses tomorrow, we can't park them on all one location. They need to be spread out, and there needs to be proper infrastructure set up for that. So we're working now with some partners in place. It's very early stages, but we're hoping to be able to work with them in establishing basically depots for electric school buses. So we could have 5 here, 5 there, 10 there, throughout Edmonton and area to help service our needs and to provide transportation with zero emissions for the students that we transport.
He's working on a plan to locate 5 to 10 buses at different locations, each with charging infrastructure. Okay, the question is, how do they work on a minus 40-degree winter day?
Thankfully, they do cancel the school, but at minus 40, when we do need to go start the diesel buses and get them running, what we do is we end up using this so that we can park this closer to where the other buses are parked, so we can use the heat to keep warm while we're boosting and servicing the diesel buses that we try to get started. Winter with the diesel heaters, absolutely fantastic.
The electric buses have diesel heaters, and the cabin is pre-warmed before the driver leaves the bus depot on cold mornings. And the best part is, they stay warm.
What it uses is a diesel heater for heating the cab of the bus, and it stores the heat in this insulated compartment here. So in the morning when the driver gets to the bus decides on the ambient temperature whether or not to run the heating system, and that heats up the cab of the bus, defrosts the windshield, all while the bus is still charging. So it allows it to not reduce the range in the colder climate to heat the bus up. The batteries are all thermally managed, so they're all heated so that they can take a full charge in our cold Canadian climate. This bus is all made here in Canada, in St. Jerome, Quebec. They're even manufacturing the batteries now themselves, and I believe they're going to be mining the materials for the batteries in Canada as well.
Kureluk's company wants more electric buses, but the bus manufacturers can't produce them fast enough. Rental Bus Lines is also interested in using vehicle-to-grid technology, which would allow them to use the school buses as batteries to help the grid when peak demand for electricity is high. It turns out this is already happening in the US, and Fuse, a Canadian startup in Vancouver, is working on this right now. We'll cover this in a future story. Subscribe to our podcast and learn more at GreenEnergyFutures.ca. For Green Energy Futures, I'm David Dodge.